everybody at once.
Dolphins have made some giant moves here this offseason.
Yeah. He's definitely excited. Obviously, with the addition of Tyreek, I think is probably the biggest one they've made. Is obviously excited, but we've got bragging rights at the moment. So,
how much do you chat with him like during a training camp?
Pretty regularly. We record a podcast every week, so I'm talking to him throughout the week about stuff we want to do on that. But yeah, pretty regularly. We reported a couple days before they did, so he's a couple days in. We're almost a weekend, so he's kind of, we're about to hit pads. They're kind of doing their first intro a couple days, so we kind of chatted about that yesterday. But he's going into his third year, so he's kind of establishing himself, establishing a good routine and kind of his persona on that team. And it's, he's going to do a great job this year, and I'm excited to see him twice.
This isn't your first punter or kicker competition you've been a part of, so to speak, with your position. What can you do to kind of help them, do their job through this whole thing?
So, great question. My job, the thing I'm focusing on most this camp and every camp, I think last year was the first year that we had only had 3 specialists in a training camp since I had been here. But I'm just trying, whether it's punt day or a field goal day or a mix of both, if they're both alternating holding, I'm trying to give them each the best hold. If they're both alternating punts back there, I'm trying to put it in the same spot every time. I don't want to be, it is my job to be as perfect as possible. I'm trying to give them the best snaps. I'm doing my job right, but also I don't want to be aiming at the wrong spot for one guy and trying to aim somewhere else for another guy. That's not. I'm just trying to put it on the hip every time.
How much can that change from your place? It's, with Tyler, he's going to get after the hole, but for you,
Sure.
does it change that much? Or?
Thankfully, no. With the Matt and Matt that we have right now, because they're virtually the same size, roughly. They're both roughly the same height. Have been in battles where one guy is 6 inches taller than another guy, so he may like it at a different spot, so it makes it that throws another it kind of mixes it up a little bit, another variable. But no, these guys make it easy. They don't mind catching it wherever, so they make it pretty easy. But like I said, it's my job to give them the best snaps possible and make it. I'm trying to make it as fair as possible. Yeah, make it as fair as possible.
Like, hey, why didn't
Right.
you get snaps for
Yeah. I caught all. One guy's saying I caught all mine at my knees all day. And he got all his, in his chest.
They're also both left-footed.
Yeah.
So does that, if you had a right foot and a left foot, does that matter to you when you're snapping?
It can just because on the same kick they might be offset a little differently, but they're both very similar. So when we're on the left hash, going left, they're both offset roughly about the same. So it makes it seamless almost. It's good.
How do you view how they've handled the competition amongst each other?
Yeah.
Matthew Smiley said that Matt Hawk had been actually very helpful
Yeah.
towards the rise.
Yeah. I think it's with a specialist competition just in general. I think guys you talk to across the league are going to be very open with helping the guy. The veteran is going to be open to helping the younger guy. You can be helpful but also competitive at the same time. You don't have to be best friends with each other. You can understand what the stakes are, throughout OTAs and camp. But no, Matt Hawk has been great with Matt Ariza, teaching him kind of some about the holds, about offsets, the punt, some stuff on punting too. So it's been great. They've both been professional about it, and can't speak highly enough for both of them. They're great. Yeah. Well, we've got a room full of Matts, Smiley too, Smiley included. So it's I go strictly by last name. It's last name only. I don't have a good nickname for the rookie yet, but we're getting there. Great question. Love to see a matching eye black on the other side. No, Tyler's been great. He's doing a good job with the competition as well, trying to keep his routine the same. And it's we play in a tough weather spot, so it's a continual growth mindset for Tyler as he learns to manage the elements when they come. Last year's home schedule, I guess you would say, was pretty brutal. With a lot of bad weather games at home. I think the only good ones were maybe in the preseason. So, Pittsburgh was still pretty. It was pretty windy that day, but just continuing for Tyler, continuing to manage that and continuing to put himself in good position to make the kicks and help us win, I think and he's doing a great job. So.
There's a lot to snap the ball differently in those windy conditions like that, like those games you just mentioned.
Yeah, a little bit. It's more so, maybe not so much a different grip, but getting some extra reps with a wet ball or with a ball with some water on it kind of helps throughout the game. We have a kicking ball bag of perfect, like good condition balls, and we have a bag of rain balls that we use when it's raining. So it's kind of bouncing, finding a good level between using both of them when it's bad weather. Good mix. Yep.
He's careful not to overgame during the off-season.
Mm-hmm.
That's what saying that too. Is it possible to over at one step?
It is, and I think that's speaking to Tyler, that's something that comes with age. I think kicking in the league, because a lot of times young guys, when they come in, they go, because when they're coming out of their senior college football season, you're bouncing right into like draft prep. So those guys really don't get an off season until after, if they make the team, after their rookie year. So some of those young guys have a tendency to they go through the college season, draft prep, they're kicking a lot. If they go to the combine, kicking a lot, and then you show up at OTAs, you're probably kicking a bunch if you're in a competition, and then you kind of go through the season, and then you finally have off time, and you may not give yourself as much time off as you need to leading up into the following training camp. So I think he's done a great job of managing his off-season reps up until this point, last 2 years. So he's done a good job.
Reid, as this roster gets better and better, it's tougher and tougher to make the team. You've been here for a while. From an outside perspective looking in, can you explain what the competition battle is like just to make the team for those last few guys on who are truly making the team because of what they can do on special teams?
Yeah, I think I had a great special teams coach in college. His name was Thomas McGay. He's been in the league for a while with the Giants right now. He always told us, he always made sure to stress to even the star guys when I was at LSU, like most guys in the league will make the team because of what they can do on special teams. There's a select few of superstars on each team that don't play special teams, but most guys will either be playing 2 phases or 4 phases or at least a first backup on one of the phases. So it's just stressing that point to a lot of these young guys, and even the second, third year guys that have still been here. You're most likely, whatever position you play, bar quarterback, you're going to be playing at some point during the season on special teams, whether you're first year guy or a 5th year guy. It's such a huge part, and there's so limited. There's only so many spaces on the roster, especially on game day when with the inactives. So, it's definitely a learning process for the younger guys to really hone in, because they're so focused on, I got to make the team as a D end. I got to make the team as a wide receiver. I want to be the 7th wide receiver, whatever the situation is, and to I don't know if it's equally, but put a significant focus on special teams and make sure you're doing your job in those couple periods throughout practice to put that good tape on film.
Do you feel like there's a flip that switches for those younger guys, whether it's after their first preseason game or after the second week of training camp, where they are starting to be like, okay, I should maybe not focus more,
Yeah.
but like
I
paying attention position and
Yeah.
do my work on special teams as much as I am at wide receiver or running
Yep. I think it probably clicks when guys aren't getting as many reps as they would like to on O&D, and they say, well, how can I find my way onto the field? Well, I can get a kickoff return rep, or I can get a punt rep with the 2s or 3s or whatever it may be, and try to work your way in there. And what a lot of the superstars in the league got their start on special teams. Mario Addison, one of my favorite guys that I've ever played with, he was a guard on punt for a few years before he really broke out as a DN. So he'd get like a rep every couple weeks, like in there at punt. But like that, I mean, that's a great example. I use that example for a lot of young guys. Like if you do your job and pay attention to meetings, ask questions, watch your film, know your matchups on Sunday, and when your number's called, you put good tape out there. It's going to work out for you, and you're going to end up graduating, and you're going to end up getting those reps on O&D that you've been working for.
With Jerry Hughes leaving, you are the longest tenured person here in academic media. What do you think of that?
It's a blessing, and if you had told me 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago, that I'd be sitting in this position, I probably wouldn't believe you. But I appreciate the heck out of Coach McDermott and Brandon Bean for keeping me around this long, and hopefully for much longer. But no, it's a blessing, and I love the guys that are here. There's still a strong core of guys that got here in 17, that free agent class that we got, and the draft class too, that are still around and have gotten extensions. So there's a clear core of guys that they have liked having here for a while, and it's been great to stick around with them.
There's no parking spot.
Not yet, maybe.
When did you realize that? If Jerry was gone,
Somebody had told me, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, because I can't remember. There was somebody before Jerry that was still ahead of me. No, it was maybe when Lorenzo was still here, Lorenzo Alexander, and they were like, you're third in line or whatever. I was like, holy moly, like that, Lorenzo, he was on his way out, and then I knew Jerry had at least a couple years left. So after Jerry had gone, it kind of took me a minute, but I was like, and Jerry and I had been locker mates for 6 years or 5 years up until I guess he just left. But I was like, dang, my locker mate's not here. I was like, holy crap, I'm the longest tenured guy on the team now. It's kind of set in, but it's weird being that guy, and I'm not like double-digit year. I'm not like 12, 13, 14 years. I'm only going into my 7th year, so it's crazy.
Still an old head, though.
Yeah, it's good. All right.
Thank you.